Okay, I added a few more washes to this, and now I'm going to add a little bit more. I'm going to start putting some cooler colors on. I've been using burnt sienna, a little yellow, a little red, a little purple, but I have areas that are cooler, so I'm going to start putting some. I eventually let it dry because otherwise things just keep moving around, and I want them to stabilize, so I'm going to start adding some cool shadows. Again, I talked about that I kind of just put my wash down quickly, and then I come back up with water, and someone said they had too much water. I put rinse my brush out, touch it to my paper towel so it doesn't have that much water in it, and then I go and I soften my edges. Soften my edges. If it's too wet, like this, then what happens is I get that bleed effect, which, you know, if you want to do wet on wet, you can use that any place that you want. But if you're trying to do things more realistically, then not having too much water is the best way to go. So again, I put my color down, rinse my brush out, dry it a little bit so it's not completely saturated with water, and then soften my edges. Kind of went over a little bit here. And I would also maybe some purple, so I'm doing my darker colors here, maybe a little bit of purple in here, a little bit of purple in here. And then I'm going to go in there and just with the water. I'm going to start softening my edges before they dry, because if they dry too much, then it's going to be, I'll have a hard edge and it won't be very naturalistic. So I have to soften all those edges, like this right here. A little more burnt sienna. So I really want to start building my shadows. So I have a big contrast between the lights and the darks. My image is very red and warm, the figure, so I'm going to keep laying on some of these other warmer colors. A little more warmth through here. Blend some of those colors together. More warmth through here. And kind of just push my colors around where I want them. And then you can decide how tight or how loose you want to be. And when you layer indigo and burnt sienna, you get kind of a really nice brown. I don't know, it seems more natural for the shadow areas. But you can also, if you have a skin tone that's not that reddish, you can use burnt umber instead. And with the burnt umber, here I'll put a little burnt umber someplace down here. You can see it's a warm color, but it doesn't have that red tint. Sometimes I put burnt umber and purples for some skin tones, because you know everyone has different skin tones. Some are redder, some are yellower, some have more browns. So umber is another good choice if you don't want to use burnt sienna. And then if there's a little hint of red, you could start with umber and put a little bit of red over it. And you get a slightly different skin tone. I might put just a hint of blue on the side of the breast here. And as I start putting these darker colors on and these cooler colors on, like the umber and the blue and the purple, I start to get more of a shadow. And it starts to get more dimensional. Okay, that should help for now, right?